All right, Vic Vapor with you. Sorry about that. Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to take a little bit closer look. We went over all the tabs up here and the general information here, and we browsed and talked a little bit about these macro sliders, but we're going to take a little bit closer look at those, and then of course the on-off button here for the pulse engine itself to get different sounds to make sure either you're getting the pulse engine sound or the dry signal. So let's take a look at this. So I've set up a little clip here with just a couple little stab type chords, and we'll browse through this together. Let me turn this down. So right now we've got the what the pluck sound, and if we want to make different adjustments within this preset, we can simply drag the macros. And you can hear how quickly the sound can be manipulated to completely be rearranged and sound different from what the original preset opened up with. So that's working with the macros in a very general way. And then right here in the center, if I hit the entire thing is like a big button. So if I click on there, that's just the dry sound. That's the dry signal, not being affected by the pulse engine. So let's hear that back on. Obviously a little different sound because now you're getting the application of however you got the macro set to feed through the signal. All right, so let's take a look at those guys like we did a little earlier, but closer here. So I'm going to click on the little stereo signal, and let's say macro 1. Watch as I move it, you'll see the different parameters being adjusted and affected here. So we can actually come down here, and move that. By clicking and dragging, we can just move that and adjust that particular drive signal and make it a little different than it already is. And then you can do the same here, of course, with all the other ones, decay, filter, and things like that. But if you click here on the button, now we're going to be able to go into more detail. Turn it on or off. Can add a tube sound. We can even add and continue to assign. Let's say you've got byte, ADSR filter, and another volume ADSR here. If we wanted to assign an additional effect to macro 1, you choose which macro you're on right here. Currently we're on number 1. Click the assign, and then it's going to tell you to navigate to a parameter inside of signal, and then click the knob you want to assign. So let's go to the effects. Let's say reverb, and let's say we want to assign the dry wet of the reverb. So I click there. Now it's assigned, and it's over here for us to adjust. And it becomes part of the macro 1, and I can adjust the range on which I want it to perform here just by simply clicking and dragging left or right. And now we can determine if we want the reverb set up or down, tight or long. So that's the general idea for the macros and the pulse engine right here in the center, and how you can get a little bit more out of those. I mean, it's very much the heartbeat of the entire synth and the way you want to use it. You can within your projects you can assign these, to be modulated, or you can assign them as something you want to actually go in and write, within the actual arrangement. So very, very, very powerful little macros. Even though there's 4, you can quickly see that those 4 each have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different effects and parameters that can be adjusted to each individual one. So sound design, and it works very intuitively. You're not struggling to figure it out. I mean, they walk you right through everything you're clicking on here. So, this thing has been very well designed and very well thought out, and they make it very, very simple to use. You can get extremely deep with your design, or you can get basic and simple as well. So let's move on to the next lesson, and we'll start to move down the front here, and we'll take a look at pulse engines A, global, and pulse B. A and B are pretty much the same thing. Of course, you just got 2 separate engines that are performing in parallel, and they both do the same thing, but you have quite a lot of flexibility on how you can set those up. So we'll jump into the next lesson, and we'll take a look at the bottom section here, and let's move on.